Actually, I think I missed an important session, but I just got an update from my colleague about it being interactive, which is very important. So, without further ado, let me just say that, with your permission, Gulkaji, let's say that this particular conference workshop has been pretty constructive as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure some of you found it also constructive. There are some takeaways, and we want to work together to find solutions to some of the issues. And the takeaways that I'm looking at is, and I had a side conversation with the Access Bank person as well, that there is a way forward, at least to revive some of the standard assets. That is the first takeaway, which is very positive. The second positive thing which I found was that there is a positive effort in the new government to at least look at how to solve problems, rather than trying to create more and trying to create hurdles, which is a pleasant change from the previous regime. But I think it would be incomplete, or rather, the conference would be incomplete if we don't spend 2 or 3 minutes on one or two very important issues, which are basically that, as Captain Saab was not here, but he had raised the point from his part, that what is exactly the problem? Why is it that one side of the government or one side of the is talking about private sector investments and PPP, and on the other side there are all kinds of blocks and blockages being created. So what is the problem? And we at IPPAI are getting more and more convinced that it is basically whether you are a small generator or a very big generator, small stakeholder or just a consumer or an ordinary man or a very important person, what is going to hit you is this constant dilemma of what is development. And I want to conclude this conference with a few points of what we have learned so far. The development narrative, or the development conversation, has started with the rise of the Western development model as we know it from the 1600s and 1700s, where private enterprise, basically under the patronage of the sovereign, was in the business of building enterprises, taking risks for profit. And therefore, as long as you took a risk, as long as you took an investment decision and you made a profit, it was great. And as long as you made a profit, you were considered successful. But it also gave rise to what is a rising disparity between the have and have-nots. So when this development model has come to India, unfortunately, in the Indian context, it has come to the East India Company and some of the others who have been looking at exploiting the markets here. But somehow it has not left behind, the overhang that is left behind is, we have the Westminster model of governance, we have democracy, we have transparency if you like, lots of television and media coverage, we've got a judiciary which is very, very active, and we also have a bureaucracy which is there from the British days. We've got lots of rules and regulations, and we have the law, the judiciary which is pretty active, but we do not have the private sector drivers of wealth creation the way it has been there for the last 300 years, 400 years in the West. So what is the result? The result is there is this stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Question you asked earlier on, very relevant question. What's going on? What do you do? There's no sanctity of contract. Constantly flip-flop change of policy. Someone talked about regulators changing their mind. Somebody talked about the coal policy being changed. Somebody talked about the power purchase policy being changed. Mr. Goenka very lucidly elaborated so many different variations that are taking place. In such an environment, how do you function? And the question there is that this country, in which we are very, very proud of, is going through a transition phase. We are still not very clear as to what is the role of the private sector. We are still very confused that the private sector should give away power free, everything should be free, power should be free, water should be free, livelihood should be free, petrol should be free. This is not going to happen in the narrative as we understand it. On the one hand, we are talking about being linked to the global listing. There was a discussion that this content in carriage is a model from England. Has it been successful there? Yes. It's like our telecom mobile phone is very successful. I don't know who owns a tower close by to this hotel. I just pick up the phone. I have a Vodafone connection or an Airtel connection, whatever, Aircel connection. I just pick up and dial. So there is absolute ability, portability of number. There is competition. If Airtel doesn't behave, I go to Vodafone. If Vodafone doesn't, I have a choice. And I don't care about whose tower it is because it is cut off from my roaming charge or it is cut off from whatever charge I am paying. So I am visualizing, at least I have a dream that electricity will get demystified to such an extent that it's a plug-and-play grid. And once it is a plug-and-play grid, the consumer has a choice. And the consumer will go where there is efficiency and where there is service and is cost effective. Whether in an industry or a generator or whatever stakeholder, again, I'd like to say that this is a question which is going to really get sorted out. Now, it won't get sorted out by one state government or one minister or one individual. It's going to take a little time. The second thing I want to say as a takeaway from this conference is, the fact is that we talk about transparency, we talk about open access, we talk about all these things. But there is also a very large part of India which is deprived. And therefore, there is now, of course, a law on corporate social responsibility. But I must tell you a little story. And this is very important and instructive. The Bombay Electric Supply and Transport, BEST has been merged. I'm sitting in their office one day and I'm talking to, now he's the managing director of MSCDCL, Mr. Gupta. And I'm looking at the board on top. And the first chairman of that company was a chap, a Baghdadi Jew, who started it as Bombay Electric Supply and Tramway Company. I didn't know that. Then I studied a little bit and I found out that Mr. Sassoon, Sir David Sassoon, and his family had run away from Baghdad and they had come and settled down in the early 1800s. They made a lot of money out of Bombay because Bombay was a center of trading for cotton, for spices, for whatever. And they started this Bombay Electric Supply and Tramway Company. After a few years of running it profitably, they gave it away, gifted it away to the city of Mumbai. So the message I am trying to give you is that once you have created wealth, you can give it away. But don't stop people from creating wealth. That's where the problem lies. We are wanting to jump the gun. We want to start distributing that wealth which is not there. Today, if Adani is a 10,000 megawatt power generator, I would like to see Adani 100,000 megawatts. So Reliance is today 5,000-7,000, I see 100,000. Why? Because unless you have close to 500,000 to 750,000 megawatts of power available from private sector, you will not get competition. You will not get efficiency. You will not get the kind of efficiency you want. And I want to end with the last story I want to tell you. Please study history. The most successful company which made lots of money was the East India Company. But the East India Company was not structured by the English. It was structured by the Dutch. I don't know how many of you know this. Shareholding of the East India Company for the first 50 to 100 years was owned by the Dutch. Why the Dutch? Because the Dutch learned to raise money through municipal bonds at 3 to 4%, which was cheap money. And this venture of going to the Far East and trading in spices was a lot of high risk, but it was also high profit. So the first place in India where a European settlement came was north of Calcutta, a place called Chinsura, at 1602. A few years later, the French set up a company to do trading. But a French company was run by government, 100% government control. You'd be amazed, perhaps not amazed, to know that the French company made continuous losses because the bureaucrat was not interested in profit. He was interested in knowing where next posting killer, how much recognition I will get, and therefore ultimately the French company failed, it had to be wound up, whereas the East India Company and the Dutch East Indies thrived. So what is the message I am giving you? The message I am giving you is, please talk to whoever you need to talk to and say, nurture the private sector in the democracy, have transparency, have rules of the game. You want to cross-subsidize somebody for vote banks, please do so. We are not against it, but don't kill us in the process of trying to get into the vote banks, because then we can do that. On that happy note, ladies and gentlemen, may I thank this panel for an amazing presentation. May I also thank Mr. Goenka, my friends from WIA, NCCL, and DMA, and the sponsors, RE Connect, IEX, and Global, of course, for supporting this event. Actually, we were very worried about this event, if you remember. And I said, we will go ahead. We have full faith in the people over there. So very happy and honored that we've been hosted so well. All of you have participated. Please carry back the message. The time for now problem creation is over. Now we are here to solve problems. And we were making a small effort by sitting with Access Bank, trying to see one or two of the stranded assets can take off. We are also looking at the projects of the villages where we can perhaps take on some villages and give them power using renewable solar energy. So with that, let me thank all of you for being here. And once again, we look forward to working with all of you. Do keep in touch. And again, thank Goenka for his support, and we need to work together on some of the other stuff we need to do, open access and all the other stuff we discussed over there. Thank you so much. Really admire the kind of work that you do. And I also like to thank Dr. Pramod Deo for sparing time for coming, nurturing, grandfathering this little initiative of us. And I'm very grateful, sir, that you've come. I know you're from Nagpur, so I'm sure you're especially proud that after having spent 35 odd years in the power sector, since 81 or whatever, you're still here and this conference is being held. On a very positive note, let me say thank you very much for your blessings. And we want to again thank Mr. Dhaul for the feeling and response. He missed his plane, so he couldn't come here for the valedictory. But it doesn't matter. The message is gone. He is very happy that we had the event, so is the Chief Minister. And we look forward to working with you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.